If you have cellulite and you've tried everything to get rid of it, including dieting and exercising, and nothing has worked, you may have been going about it the wrong way. The good news is I'm going to tell you exactly what you can do to either reduce the appearance of cellulite that you have, or better yet, get rid of it altogether. But first, we have to know what cellulite is in order to know how to get rid of it. Your fat lives between your skin and your muscles, and there are little tethers of connective tissue interspersed between your fat cells that link your skin to what's underneath. These tethers of connective tissue separate your fat cells into block compartments. Cellulite is a result of two things. One, how your tethers or connective tissue link from your skin to what's underneath. And two, how much fat you have in each of those block compartments. We can't do much about the tethers. The tethers are genetic, but we can reduce the amount of fat in each of those block compartments, smoothing out the appearance of your skin. You may be saying, yeah, I already knew that. That's why I dieted, that's why I exercised, and I still had cellulite. Here is where you may have gone wrong. When we lose weight and we're not careful, yes, we will burn fat, but we will also burn muscle. And although, yes, you weigh less, the relative amount of fat on your body may have stayed the exact same. How can this be? Let's say you weigh 120 pounds and you have 30 pounds of fat. 30 divided by 120 means that you have 25% body fat. Now let's say we've lost 20 pounds, but not all of that came from fat. Only 5 pounds came from fat. The rest came from muscle. Well, now you weigh 100 pounds, but you still have 25 pounds of fat. 25 divided by 100, you're still 25% body fat. So yes, you may have shrunk and you look smaller, but the appearance of your cellulite has stayed the same. Here is what we want to happen. We want all or most of your fat loss to come from fat. So it would look like this now. Your muscle wouldn't shrink, but your fat would shrink a lot. Look at the difference this would make at the skin level. You see a much more profound difference in the appearance of your cellulite. And for some of you, it will completely go away. How do we do this? Well, we've got to signal to our bodies that we want to keep the muscle so that it's forced to only burn fat. Firstly, you do need to be in a caloric deficit. Watch this video here for some helpful tips as to how to get into a caloric deficit while still feeling full and still eating foods that you find tasty and satiating. Once you're in a caloric deficit, this is when your body decides what it's going to burn, fat or muscle. Think of your body as a company that realizes it needs to downsize and cut its workforce by 10%. It's going to look at every department, fat, muscle, to determine where it can ruthlessly cut unessential workers. We've got to convince our bodies that our muscle are essential workers by showing our body that we're constantly using our muscles. Now, we have to train our muscles. So you'll want to add 2 full body resistance training days to your week. It could be at a gym, it could be at home, it could be a fitness program that you watch on your phone or TV. It can be one of my favorites, Pilates. Come join a class if you're in the area. Why twice a week? There's at least one study to show that after 1 hour of exercise, muscle protein synthesis increases up to 72 hours before returning down to baseline. So getting 2 bouts of exercise in a week really signals to our body that we're using that muscle and it should not be put on the chopping block. If your cellulite is more on your lower body, you can actually push your body to burn more fat from your lower body by doing a predominantly lower body resistance training program. In the study from 2017, participants that only worked their lower body through a resistance training program, followed by cardio to ensure that they were in a caloric deficit, lost 3 times more fat mass from their lower bodies when compared to participants that only resistance trained their upper bodies. The best way to incorporate lower body resistance training into your 2 sessions is to make sure that you are dedicating 70 to 80% of those sessions to resistance training your lower body. If you want to replicate what was done in this study, you are going to do the following exercises in a circuit, one after each other, before beginning again at the start. The machines used were the gluteus machine, the leg curl machine, the hip abductor, the leg extension machine, and the hip adductor machine. For each exercise, you'll want to do 3 sets of 10 repetitions at 60% of your 1 repetition max, or your 1 RM. Your 1 RM is the maximal weight that you can use to perform an exercise for exactly 1 repetition. This is something that you can test for yourself by picking a weight on a machine and seeing if you can do more than 1 repetition of that exercise. If you can, rest 2 to 5 minutes, pick a heavier weight, and try again until you get to a weight where you can only do 1 repetition. Take that weight, multiply it by 0.6, and that is your 60% 1 RM. Also, to ensure your muscles are continuously being challenged week after week, try adding 1 repetition to each set or adding 5 pounds to each set every week. In this study, participants also did 30 minutes of cardio after their resistance training, and they worked out 3 times a week if you wanted to do it exactly how it was done in the study. I also recommend incorporating upper body resistance training to ensure you're not losing muscle from your upper body. 2 to 3 sets of a machine chest press, a machine or cable row, and a dumbbell lateral raise at least once a week should have you covered. You can split these movements up between your 2 sessions. Another critical mistake that is often done is you got to properly fuel your muscles in order for them to give your body the signal that they are being used. Studies have shown if you just resistance train and don't ingest at least protein, after resistance training, you actually break down more protein than you synthesize, which is important for muscle. It's like you're trying to put your foot on the gas in a car while also keeping your foot on the brake. Your wheels are going to turn, but you're not going to go anywhere. The same thing happens with your body. Try to get 0.7 grams to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. So for instance, if you weigh 150 pounds, try to get somewhere between 110 grams to 150 grams of protein a day. If you have difficulty getting that through just what you're eating, invest in some whey protein. It is one of the best investments that you can make for your body. One last thing that a lot of people surprisingly get wrong. Do not create a calorie deficit of greater than 500 calories, or your body will start to break down muscle even if you're resistance training and ingesting high amounts of protein. In a meta-analysis where researchers were looking at how a calorie deficit impacts lean mass retention or gain, which you can think of as a proxy for lean muscle retention, anything in this graph under the 0 line is a negative or loss of lean mass. As you can see, where the graph crosses that 0 line is at a 500 calorie deficit. So you don't want to have a deficit greater than that amount. How does this translate to your scale? Try not to lose more than 1 pound a week to preserve muscle and watch the fat and cellulite melt off of your body. If you like this video and found it informative, do me a solid, share it with someone that you think that it could really help. And if it helped you, I would love for you to subscribe, leave any comments on content that you would also find helpful, and I'll make sure to make a video on it. Thanks, guys.